WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
It's 9:20 in SVG. Roleza and Dianna are back with more Activated Mornings on WEFM, the clean, fresh sound. At this time, we are going to be conducting an interview with the Consul General, Mr. Rondy Intosh, and we are going to be speaking about the pending deportation situation as it relates to Trump's executive orders and his actions since regaining his seat as the President of the United States of America. All right, so stay tuned, all right? Remember, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, you can call us 457-9997. And at this time, we have the Consul General, Mr. Intosh. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am all right. And you?
I'm cold. It's very cold this morning.
We are not jealous of you. You know, we're not jealous at all.
Well, I'm jealous of you. Trust me.
You should be. You should.
All right. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, Consul General. This is Roleza. How are you? Otherwise,
Hi, Roleza.
how are you? Otherwise,
well, I am. Other than being cold, we are quite busy here in New York and at the consulate. As you know, that there are a lot of a moving post that's going on right now. So we are keeping a tab on everything, and we are trying to adjust every call that we have, and trying to tap into every state entity to see how we can best, appease our nationals here. So it's quite an interesting time, and a lot of stuff is going on. So I'm pretty busy, but I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you very much for accommodating us this morning and this interview. We're not going to keep you for very long, but earlier this week, we did have some conversations with regards to the impending deportation based on some executive orders. Well, the executive order that was signed by President Donald Trump, right? So what we want to do is to hear it directly from the horse's mouth, and you would be the horse in this case in a good way, in terms of what is happening on the ground. What has actually been the atmosphere like amongst persons within the diaspora, especially those persons who may not be documented? What has it been like so far that you've been hearing?
Well, I must tell you, and as the person and the consulate that's responsible for our nationals here, even in the United States, and making sure that they're served and making sure that their rights are protected, and the whole ambit, it has been very unsettling. We've gotten a lot of calls. Like every day, we will get calls, about various issues as it relates to not only the documented, but those who are documented, their concerns to their families and their friends. And, so people right now are not, really not settled on what's happening. Now, from our end, we've been doing quite a bit of work. And we have not been saying much because in these positions, your emotional intelligence has to be, of importance. It has to be top notch, because when persons get emotional, you cannot jump and get emotional as well, because there's so many different emotions over so many different things that you will be pulled left, right, and center. So we have to remain calm, to seek information, and we have to seek legitimate sources as well. Like recently, there's a list there is a list that is going around on social media, in the print media, and all over the place. And that list contains a number of countries and the number of deportees for each country on that list. And to find out how legitimate that list is, At this point, I can assure our nation and the people who are listening to us on WEFM that even the source who should have that list doesn't know of its origin. And I'm talking about ICE, who is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So if you're looking at the news and hearing a lot about this, you will hear the name ICE a lot of times, because they are the ones who are tasked with going into homes and businesses and some are saying schools and churches, and just pulling out persons who are undocumented, or as the president would have said, they're going after criminals, hardened criminals. Now that was initially the target, but the benchmark moved once again a few days ago when he listened to his press secretary, and persons were questioning, okay, you said that you're going after criminals, but we're noticing that you're also picking up non-documented people who are not criminals, who do not have a criminal record in the United States. And what that person said is, once you're here illegal, it is a crime. So you see how that goalpost would have moved. So they consider once you're here illegal, you've committed a crime and you're a criminal. So we are monitoring everything. So yesterday, we had several calls. I had several calls and meetings yesterday. And I want to assure the Vincentian public and our people in the diaspora that our government is not just sitting and waiting for things to happen. So Cabinet has approved a working committee to deal with this matter. This committee is headed by the Chief of Immigration, and we convened our first meeting yesterday. And we had a very fruitful discussion. And I'm sure, as time goes on, the public will hear, what are our plans and what we are doing. I also had a meeting with the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. And they're also, because they're the Office of Immigrant Affairs, they're also trying to be proactive and reaching out to our community to have seminars and face-to-face. And so they proposed to me that we do something for our nationals here. And what I said to them is that I prefer it to be a virtual session, because people are really, skeptical of going. Undocumented people are skeptical of going to any physical location. So they agreed that we can do something virtual. So I have already written to the mayor's office, and they're working on a date for me. And when we get that date, then we'll disseminate that information so that we can get persons on. And what their mission is to let persons know, because New York is a sanctuary city. Right? If you're undocumented, you're without papers, New York, they find ways of, taking care of you, putting you in shelters and feeding you, and in a lot of cases, provide you with work authorization. So they're reaching out to let persons know what their rights are and how far the arms of ICE can be extended. Because you would have seen where ICE is going to homes, and they're reaching out to tell people, listen, if ICE comes to your home, you don't have to open your door. Let them show you the search warrant. Now there's a warrant that can be signed by ICE that has its limitation, and the warrant that is signed by a judge also has further access. It gives ICE further access that it can enter your home. So just to know your rights and what you can and cannot do. Now, I also had a meeting with ICE themselves yesterday with our main contact person, and I circulated the list. I emailed the list to that person, our ICE officer, and for them to validate. And what the person said to me is that nowhere in their system, can she find that list. She would have checked with other state entities, and they also do not know the origin of that list. So I went on further to probe, because every month I get a report from ICE as to how many Vincentians, how many of our nationals are in their custody for deportation. So I went on probing, and I asked a few questions. How many persons are in their system? how many persons are in their detention, how many persons are not in their detention. Now, the deportation work in several ways. When you go to the court and you get a removal order from the US, if you're a hardened criminal, drugs and murder and stuff like that, they will keep you in their custody. So they're the detained and the non-detained. The figures for those I will circulate this morning. I have already spoken with my ambassador in Washington and send the information as well to our working group, the working committee, which is the Vincentian Deportee USA SVG committee. So what I can tell you though, what I will divulge now is that at this present moment, we have one Vincentian in ICE custody for deportation, just one. It doesn't mean that the non-detained, those are the persons who may have, petty crimes, just overstay their time. They're considered as non-criminal, basically. So they will get an order from the judge. Okay, you have 1 month or you have 2 months to leave the US. Those persons are not in custody, but have already received deportation orders. Now, in terms of from my end as well, when we are dealing with deportation, there are two things that happen. If you're in ICE custody and you're up for deportation, ICE will send the information to me, and that includes what your crimes are and the reason for your deportation and the order from the judge. And then my responsibility is to check with Capital. And if you hear me mention Capital, that is we refer to St. Vincent and our government as Capital. So I will refer to Capital and ask them to verify this person's nationality to their flight booking agency to get an itinerary for that person to say when they are coming home. And they will send the itinerary back to me, and then we will issue a travel document, an emergency travel document. Now, this only happens in the case where the person doesn't have a legitimate travel document, a valid travel document. There are other cases where if that detainee or the deportee doesn't or have a valid travel document, they will ask the deportee, do you want us to contact your consulate? If that deportee says no, then we are not involved in that process. Sometimes we don't even know. What ICE will do, they will send the information to the attaché at the embassy in Barbados. That attaché will send it on to Capital, be it the head of national security, be it the chief immigration officer, so they are informed. And then that person is sent home, and then there's a process that happens when that person lands in St. Vincent. So there's quite a lot of moving parts and things, that you must get a grasp of to understand exactly what is happening. So my conversation as well with my ICE contact yesterday is if at least we at the consulate can get a heads up, when they're sending people home, or if they're sending people home, because as I said, at this moment, to appease our Vincentian people, we only have one single person in ICE custody for deportation. Okay. There are other numbers in terms of who are non-detained and other numbers as well for those who are presently being processed by ICE. They're still going to the court case, and we don't know what the outcome will be. So I'll stop here for a while just in case you have any questions to me.
All right. Well, I do have a question with regards to persons who are undocumented at this time. So yes, we know that they're uneasy, etc. What is the best advice that you can give to them at this time in terms of becoming documented individuals?
That part of it, as the Consul General, right? I will not give that advice. Because we depend on immigration lawyers to advise our people. Okay. And based on my remit here as the Consul General, we are not supposed to get involved or meddle in any of the United States business. So that is visas, that is green cards, citizenship. That's why sometimes you hear sometimes you may circulate in the news that an ambassador or a consul general may be involved in something with trying to get green cards and what's not. We are absolutely, based on the Vienna Convention, not supposed to meddle in the business of America. So that advice I will not give. But when persons call the consulate, we have immigration lawyers that we can refer them to. We have persons who deals with tax ID that we refer people to so that they can get the export idea.
Okay.
The export advice, sorry.
Okay, lovely.
All right.
Yes.
Well,
Because it's we as I mentioned, the Vienna Convention that governs diplomats, and a lot of people, because we've been trying to pin down the number of Vincentians living in the United States, and it's a hard number to pin down. You know, some of the opinion that we have as many as maybe in the range of 100,000 or what, as many people as we have in St. Vincent living out here in the United States, diaspora. That number we cannot say for sure, because when census are being done every year, census are broken out into the different countries and how much of their nationals are here in the United States. Undocumented people do not take part in that census for fear that they will take that information and pass it to ICE, right? So when the consulate reach out as well, because we have like contact information for all the groups, organizations throughout the United States, and I do liaison with them quite a bit, send information to them, and we sometimes try to get information. And undocumented people, they're so skeptical of giving their information. But what I want to assure people as well, and our diasporans, and especially undocumented people, that the consulate being protected by international conventions, we are like an office in St. Vincent that you lift up and you reside in the United States. So they consider anywhere that where I work, where I live, the car that I drive, they consider that to be sovereign and that to be a part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So the authorities they should not just enter my house or enter the office or enter my car, regardless to what it is. You know, if there's a crime committed and somebody run into my car, they have to seek permission to go into the car because that is considered the property of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that is also extended to all diplomats under the Vienna Convention. So the American diplomats in St. Vincent, they have the same rights and privileges and immunities. You know, so these are things that you must know in order to protect your people and what your limitations are, what your rights are, what you're able to do. So I just want people to stay away from crime, stay away from drugs, walk the straight and narrow. And as my ambassador would have reached out to me, to let me know, and the staff, to, everywhere you go, please have your ID. And that goes to all of our nationals here in the United States. Please have that piece of ID on you, because if you're stopped by ICE and they ask questions, you have something to say. Well, yes, I am a resident, I'm a citizen, I'm a green card holder, I am from St. Vincent, I'm here on vacation. Please have that identification on you, because we are looking at cases where persons are loaded onto military aircraft and sent back to their countries, and we don't know what the process is if their government is informed. So there's so many moving parts, and we are just keeping a tab on everything.
Okay. All right, Dianna, anything? All right, so this is probably like one of those times where we'd already have a lot of questions, because it meant that you said a lot. You were very detailed, and you explained everything in full. So I can't poke holes to ask any additional questions at this time. All right. But I don't know if there's anything final. Right.
Yes, just to note as well that we have an August body called the CARICOM Consular Corps, which comprises all the consuls general from CARICOM And we meet once per month to discuss things with our diasporans and our community and how best we can serve them. And we have an emergency meeting today at 1 p.m. That body is now headed by St. Lucia, my brother, Consul General Hyacinth. And we have an emergency meeting at 1 p.m. And we're going to just discuss generally, what is happening and what information that we can share to each other, who we can tap into and, share resources and tap into state agencies that can give us the proper guidance so that we in turn can guide our nationals. So I just want everybody to be safe. And finally, no, not finally, I have two things to leave you with.
No problem.
I want, as I have been saying since last year, that we allow dual citizenship. And that is if you're born in St. Vincent, if you're born in America or anywhere in the world, and if one of your parents was born in St. Vincent, and now that is extended to second generation. So if your grandparent was born in St. Vincent, you're eligible for a Vinci passport. We are asking everyone, to get their Vinci passport so that they have an additional piece of ID. Call us at the consulate, 212-687-4490. Our number or email address is online. Send us an email and we are here to serve you. Right? To our diasporans who may be listening to us this morning from the US. This year, we are doing for the third time. I came here in August 2022, and by March 2023, I led the Garifuna people on their annual rite of passage and pilgrimage. That will be happening again this year for National Heroes, this celebration where we bring them home. We take them to the official ceremony. We take them to the celebrations in Fancy and in Greg's. We also take them to Baliso. We get a catamaran, and this is being facilitated by the government through REDU, Regional and Integration Diaspora Unit. The Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Tourism is involved. My people at Foreign Affairs, they're involved as well. And that is happening this year again. So if you want to be a part of the Garifuna Rite of Passage and Pilgrimage, you can reach out to the consulate for the information. On May 17th, we are having a diaspora outreach where we will be getting several arms of government, traveling to Toronto, to New York, to Washington, and to London to meet with our diasporans. And this is specifically for diasporans, where they're coming to let them know how to do business home. If you want to return home, if you want to set up a business home, if you want to buy lands home, what are the opportunities that are available? So this is being led by Invest SVG. It will be involved. Foreign Affairs will be involved. Tourism will be involved. Other state entities, NIS and SIPO or SIPO will be involved as well. We are hearing some credit unions will be involved. So it will be a really large contingent that will be coming from St. Vincent, to embark on that. This year we'll be having, working along with the Vinci D Committee for the biggest gathering of Vincentians in the diaspora. And that happens the third Saturday in August every year. That's the big Vinci Day picnic. So we're on to that this year again. 45 years of independence. We'll be having big celebration for independence. So quite a bit, that I have on my plate this year. But I'm looking forward to it. I love challenges. I love achieving stuff. So just anything, just be in touch. And I am all over the place. The person here in New York will tell you, at all the functions, and what's not, I show my face. I am there with the people, and they've been loving that, and I pledge to continue doing that. Although this year is a very big year for me. I have like 5 major accomplishments, things that I need to either accomplish or make some major decisions on. And so it's going to be a full year, but I am really thankful that the Almighty has given me, all the blessings and the strength and the good health and favor of a lot of people. and I have so many people that supporting me and giving me guidance and anything that I need assistance with. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting year, but it's going to be a good year.
All right. And may I also add, he's also very accessible. All right. When you have a question, yes. Yes.
Yeah, just reach out. Just reach out.
Yes.
Just reach out. We are here willing, to assist, to answer any questions that we are able to answer, or that we have the jurisdiction to answer. Because some things I will bypass, because some things, better answered by my bosses, the ambassador or the permanent secretary, or up the ladder to my minister of foreign affairs or the prime minister. Yep.
All right. So Consul General McIntosh, thank you very much for taking the time out this morning to answer some questions and to clear up certain issues for us at this time. And should anything arise and you want to inform the public, you can always feel free to reach out to us/me for a bit of time to do so. All right. So thanks very much again today.
You're welcome. And I was home for Christmas and I missed it, so I missed the water, I missed the sun, I missed the people.
Well, right now,
the garden, I missed everything.
Right now it's a little hazy, but if sun comes out tomorrow, we'll send some sunshine to you by FedEx, right? That'll work?
Don't do me that. Don't do me that. All right. You all take care. Have a great day and have a great year. All right.
You as well. All right. Thank you very much again.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so that was our conversation there with the Consul General, Rondy McIntosh, as it relates to the current deportation issue, as Trump's executive orders relating to the deportation of undocumented persons in America. It is now 9:45. Well, it's 9:46, and so we have to head out of this segment as we go into our community